Okay, we live, y'all. I'm ready to do it. Yeah. What's up? Yesterday's we're coming though. Let's give us a second. We're coming though. Let's give us a second. All right, we'll get the theme song started. Yes, sir. Patrice Gibbs has joined.
Yo, you know what it is, 95.3 FM, WHTE Radio, Open Eye Radio Show with your boy, host, Pat Gibbs, and myself, Nsoromma in the building. Tune in on Facebook too, WHGE 95.3 on Facebook, live, now. Rah!
Uh-oh. Here we go, y'all. The theme song. Come on, Nsoromma. Oh! The theme song.
Yeah, you know what's up. Open Eye Radio Show is live. Yo, hit us up, ask us questions. Yo, we reading all y'all information that pop up on us. And yo, we'll keep y'all in touch with what's going on. For real.
Those of us that acknowledge or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or even we do so because the change from depression is minds are deep and difficult to move. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye. I'm your host, Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist. Of course, joined by our intellectual surgeon, Nsoromma.
Yaga. What's good, brother? What's good, brother?
You know the deal. We got one for you today, like I always say. That's where it was. First, let me handle some business. First of all, the Open Eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, the founders and builders of the Pearl Center, the Veteran Specific Apartment Building. The Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over the city, all over the state. All right. We got a few things going on. I'm gonna handle a little business here. Right here in the neighborhood of the radio station, there will be a yard and sidewalk sale today. It starts right now at 11 a.m. Hey, if y'all out there, I know you're listening to the Open Eye. Turn it up so they can hear us going down the street. On 9th Street from Lombard to Pine. We're a stronger community together When we are connected, inclusive, and cohesive, willing to come together, respect our community, and show action. We live block by block within the same community, and we are starting with our block to show unity. Come on out, social service vendors will be available. Eastside Community empowers change. That's right here on 9th Street from Pine to Lombard. Don't half-step, be out there with them. And like I always tell you, we always have a full state of programming for you. Saturdays, of course, the open eye. You know you can't wait. You know you've been starving like Marvin for that open eye tidbit. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And from, let's see, is this the second Saturday? I think it is. I think it is the second Saturday. If it is, Voices of Delaware Afro Coalition will be on at 1 today with Dr. Kalichi Lawrence. At 4 o'clock will be Ed J's Sports Zone. You don't want to miss that if you are following the football season and making them bets. It will help you make that money on them bets, right? That's at Ed Sports Zone at 4. At 5, the well-informed Alan Lawrence, the host of the Week in Review. If you don't know what happened this week, what's going on, you want to tune in at 5 for the Week in Review. And of course, that is followed by our illustrious leader with his daily show, Black History Facts and Reflections. Now we got a event coming up. It will be November 27th from 5 to 8. Once again, as celebrations, where our last event was, which was a big success, the Clifford Brown birthday bash. Now we are going to put on a poetic invitation to and from the friends of WHDE 95.3 FM. WHGE invites you to support our shopping spree to buy 100 radios for the elderly, so they can listen to WHGE 95.3 FM. There will be these words by famous poet County, our special appeal to all of you, and in the interest of transparency, we present the following budget for you to see. Right, that will be by famous poet County. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop by and kick some poetry myself, y'all. That's a minimum donation required by everyone. You know, you can give up as much as you want, but it's the minimum $10. I'm sure you can help on that. I'm sure you can help on that. That will be Wednesday, November 27th, from 5 to 8 p.m. as celebrations. Entertainment, the Big Cat, Tony Smith and friends. And there will be vocalists. Artists are invited to perform. And like I said, admission is $10. You don't want to miss out on that, okay? And like I said, you may catch your third eye optometrist kicking some poetry himself. All right, so join in on that. Hey, we are Facebook Live. We are Facebook Live. So don't be afraid to tune in. Don't be afraid to make a comment. All right, this is The Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. All right, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is.
The views and opinions expressed on the Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHDE 95.3 FM or our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual.
The Open Eye. Well, got a lot going on. The first thing I want to get to is the way we open the show. Okay, I'm sure you hear the theme music and the statement made during the theme music. Let me give that to you without the music. Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego digging. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove. Oh, that sounds deep, huh? And some of you may be wondering, what the hell does that mean? What is intellectual violence? That means getting in your head in such a way that it's going to change. What does violence do? Okay, violence changes where you are and what's going on in your mind, in your physical being. Intellectual violence attacks the illness of your mind. Okay, that's why I call my man Nsoromma an intellectual surgeon.
That's right.
You know, because we're not here to hurt you, we're here to wake you up. Okay, and we're not doing it for the sake of our own egos, or as I call it, mental masturbation. We're not doing it to get our own minds off, or we're not doing it to placate anyone. Okay, so if you tuned in thinking that you want to, you know, hear something that you just wanted to hear or something, no, you're going to hear real stuff. You're going to hear the facts of our situation, the reality of what we're going through, the reality of the effects of white supremacy on us, the reality of coonism on us, Negro kids. We deal with all of that. And we don't deal with it from a position of not knowing, because we do our research. We've been studying this situation, our condition for a long time.
Right.
Okay. So when you tune in here, that's why I tell you, you know.
And a lot of hands-on experience.
And a lot of hands-on experience.
That's right.
A lot of hands-on experience. You know.
True. Tune in, WHGE, Facebook.
Right.
Right now.
Ruben, Billy the Hippie.
What's happening, Bill? Right. What's happening, Bill?
All right. Now, I got to give a big shout out to Judge Mathis.
Judge Mathis?
Judge Mathis. Yeah, I've always been a fan of Judge Mathis. He gave 50,000 bottles of clean water to Michigan
I heard that. Yes, I did.
You know? Now, the thing is about Flint, Michigan, it's been 2,022 days since Flint has had clean water. That's crazy. Now, the government is telling the people that, you know, the water's all right to drink and this, that, and the other. All right. Okay. I tell you what, before I drink a glass of that water and put it in my bed,
I tell you.
Yeah, I want to see you take a glass of that water, Mr. Mayor out there in Flint, Michigan, Mr. Governor in Michigan, and see you take a sip of that water.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's why I know they full of stuff. And that's why I give a shout out to my man. And you know, a lot of us, you know, make plans and say we're going to do this, that, and the other.
Right.
You know, you have removed the chains. You have opened your eye. Now what? Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. Vision with action can change the world, and that's what we're here trying to do, y'all.
That's right.
We are here to try to change the world. You know, we all place ourselves in danger to one degree or another when we stand up. But when we place our children and grandchildren in even greater danger when we don't.
Right.
You know, we gotta
learn to start exercising our rights, knowing what our rights are, and applying them.
Exactly. You know, and that's a big statement there, brother. Knowing what our rights are. Yeah, I think I'm having a problem with my Facebook Live here, getting not for the station, but getting it on my own page. So some of my people have to catch my page to catch the Facebook Live broadcast, but that's all right. I got you. Don't you worry about it. That's where you just come on in. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah. All right. Yes, all right. Share that. Okay. One of the things that we don't know how to deal with, we talk about black power. Yeah, put this up, black power. The thing is obtaining power, okay, because you're not going to obtain it from the oppressor. Powerful people cannot afford to educate the people that they oppress, because once you are truly educated, that's why you tune in here. You will not ask for power. You will take it. And that's a quote from our great elder and ancestor, passed on years ago, the great John Henry Clark. You know, to understand how you have to understand the meaning of power in its use, the objective of power. The objective of power is to take, transfer, maintain, will, and expand power. Will, have, and be able to use power and influence. Okay, what is power? Power is the ability to bring your aspirations to reality, regardless of any opposing force trying to stop you.
Right. So once you put your mind to do something and you manifest it, that's power.
That's power. That's power.
That's right. Apply that in every aspect of your life and you will come up. Trust me.
You will. That's because, you know, Nsoromma and I are people that take our situation in the hand and make something happen about it. You know, you can't sit around hoping, wishing,
praying.
It's all right to pray to the universe, but you know, as they say in the Christian faith, which I'm not Christian, prayer without faith without action is dead. You're not going to make anything happen.
Right.
You're not going to make anything happen, and this has been a big problem for our people. You know, especially dealing with the police situation. We talk about it every week. Every week we talk about the police situation.
And then it's a new case every week also on top of us talking about it. It's like it's a every 2-3 day thing that's going on with the police force.
You know, and maybe some people say, well, why are you talking about it? Well, there's a method to our madness. We talk about it so that you are well aware what you're dealing with. Okay? And the fact that as well aware of it as you are, what are you going to bring about change? Right. A lot of people talk revolution, revolution. Revolution is change. Okay? And a lot of times that change has to start at home. You know?
And let me tell you, revolution don't start in the streets. Revolution starts in the courthouse, putting in subpoenas, putting in the paperwork, putting in the black and white to make it a true fact. They only abide by what they create, which is law. So you gotta hit them with the law.
That's it exactly, brother. That's it exactly. And you know what? I'm glad that you put it that way because, you know, I'm gonna tell you how they operate and why we have to operate the way that Nsoromma, you know, just expressed to us. This is the Open Eye, 95.3 FM.
Yeah.
A message for somebody.
So could be heating up a little. Hey,
who we got up in there? What's good? Oh, that's my man Harvey. Yeah, we see you, Harvey. What's up, brother? Yeah. What's good? Any question marks? I don't know. Whatever you trying to say, Harmon. It's all
no,
good.
that was me. I said.
Oh, you said it was good. Oh, that's from us. Oh, okay.
To him.
Oh, okay. Billy the hippie. I think that's Bill's daughter sending it for Bill.
Oh.
Yeah. I think that's Bill there. That's it. Yeah. Everybody in. Morning, y'all. What you doing? All right, name of that tune is Easy Slick by Pat Gibbs. Thank you. All right. Like I said, you know, my man, and this is something my man Nsoromma said, you know, use the system. Use the system. That's almost revolutionary. You know, to use it. Well, no, not almost. It is revolutionary because by using our own system against them, we have made many changes.
Right.
We have made many changes.
First of all, they didn't expect us to read like we can. So,
right.
And then when we start putting it back into their perspective, it's a different situation.
Right.
You know?
That's what, you know, because that's what they do. Okay? You hear people talk about black rage, you know, and what black rage, according to the propaganda, is, you know, are people getting out in the street, and rioting, protesting, burning, because, you know, burn, baby, burn, because we're tired of what's going on. My man Billy here, thank you for reminding me of the sister Carol Anderson. Now, Carol Anderson said that it's not black rage that you have to watch, it's white rage. And white rage is used in the manner that Nsoromma expressed.
Right.
Okay. Now, and it's been going on, you know, since, you know, what, 1865? Because the worst thing in the world to the white supremacist dominant society at large is to see us advance. The old folks had a saying about black economic success. There's nothing a white man with a penny hates more than a black man with a nickel. Okay, every time African Americans have made advances toward full participation in this democracy, white reaction has fueled a deliberate, relentless rollback of those gains. The end of the Civil War and Reconstruction was greeted with black codes and Jim Crow. The Supreme Court's 1954 Brown versus Board of Education decision was met with the shutting down of public schools throughout the South. Okay, and that money for public schools was funneled into private schools. They shut down the schools because our people throughout the South were excelling in education. And I'll tell you something that happened right here in Wilmington that a lot of people didn't understand. Before busing, before desegregation, okay, our segregated schools, our black teachers were turning out quality college-ready students with substandard resources. But what did? We get that thing confused. We got quality confused with white. And bust our children out to hostile suburbia.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's when it was called desegregation. I was one of the students of first desegregation bus that pulled up on the school. That was my year, desegregation. Yeah. And when we pulled up, it was a big sign on the side of the building, almost taller than the building. Go home the N-word. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And we still got off that bus because we was determined to make a difference.
To get your education.
And get our education. But not only education, but to make a difference that you can't stop us from getting our education or getting what we want. We were more of a force of a bunch of us. If you got 100 people going up to a situation, right, and they see these 100 people mean business, they gonna listen. Oh yeah. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you gotta say something that they don't like. They are going to listen for the simple fact that the number is strength. Strength is in numbers. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we all have to come together. Right. Even other colors inside of to make it a real broader aspect on, you know, if you white and you don't like what they doing to blacks and you don't want to be caught up in the wrath of being beat up by or getting caught up in, you want to state your voice and voice your opinion, you want to be on the side that righteousness, right, on the righteous side, you know, and people, and they really don't know how serious it is. When we had our first riot, because we had a riot at the school, and the riot, it was so serious, you know, people was getting stabbed, hit with cheers. I mean, this is in high school, in the high school building. You know what I'm saying? And now it has leaked into the world, which it has always been in the world. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's worse now. You
know, well, you know, what Carol Anderson did was carefully link these incidents and historical flashpoints and pull back the veil that's long covered the action, you know, that was made in the name of democracy, fiscal responsibility or protection against fraud, rendering visible the long lineage of white rage, compelling and dramatic in the unimpeccable history it relates. White rage will add an important new dimension to the national conversation about race in America. Like, you know, as Ferguson, Missouri erupted in 2014, and media commentators across the ideological spectrum refer to the angry response of African Americans as Black rage, historian Carol Anderson wrote a remarkable op-ed in the Washington Post suggesting that this was instead white rage at work. With so much attention on the flame, she argued, everyone was ignoring the kindling. Everybody was ignoring the fuel of the rage.
Wow.
Yeah, it is real deep. Yeah, that's where it is real deep. We got people joining us on. I've started a watch party on Facebook Live on my page. You know, and moving on. I did I call it strolling commentary, but I don't move when I'm doing the commentary. Most of the time I sit my butt down. Right. But this week I asked the question, what is in Popeye's chicken? You know, because the things that have been going on with the second release or second time that Popeyes put this chicken sandwich on their menu, it's just crazy.
And I like what you said. I like when you said you want to demand the ingredients that's in that chicken.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be more than just the crust, crispy crust.
Well, you know what? Here's what the ingredients are in the chicken. It's not the chicken. It really is not the chicken. It's the propaganda that has convinced people that this chicken is something that they gotta have. We got people, look, one woman, look what she did, wrecked her car, tore up her car, the cut-in line, because she was afraid they was gonna run out of that chicken, tore up her car, the cut-in line in the drive-thru.
Not only that, man, people are going there early and buying a chicken sandwich and selling it for $1,000.
That's deep.
A chicken sandwich for $1,000.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something, man? You know that the propaganda is strong.
Oh my God!
You know what they can get in your head.
They do. The media tear us up as a black audience, you know.
But not just us.
Nah, I mean, it's
not just us.
I mean, when I say us, I mean us as the intellectual population that they try to get, because they have no color on that. And when the media is dealing with you, they don't care about your color. Whoever fall, wherever they fall, that's where they fall. You know what I'm saying? In media propaganda.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now with black people, it's been this chicken sandwich. And you know, I heard a lot of brothers and sisters, you know, and seen a lot of people on Facebook saying, you know, how bad we make ourselves look on for this chicken sandwich and this, that, and the other. That's why I said, and like Nsoromma said, it's not just black people that they reach with the propaganda, with the mind control, with the stuff that they put in your mind, making you believe that this certain brand is something you gotta have. Okay, how many times have you seen when the iPhone comes out
and the line be around the corner, people sleeping outside? They ain't black, they mostly white. They mostly white. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's the same type of thing.
It's the same type of thing. See, because most people, okay, and this goes so deeper than just about the brands, like Air Jordans and Popeye's chicken sandwich and the iPhone. Most people are Gollum. And what that means is most people are sheep, they're followers. Okay? Very few people stand up and take a lead. And you sheep,
that's just like claiming your own sovereign.
Yeah.
You don't most people don't even claim or know what their own sovereign is. You know, that's serious too.
Okay. You know, well, like I said, most people, you know, they join the flock and they get caught up in whatever the propaganda convinces them that they need to be like. Okay, instead of thinking for yourself and moving forward in that. Okay, see what where people get mixed up, especially when it comes to making change or getting on code, as I say, okay? And a lot of our people, I posted that up and I posted it strong. A lot of our people need to get on code.
Right.
Okay.
We used to have codes.
Yeah. You know, as far as moving forward and, you know, handling our situation, you need to be on code.
And I just got a text from my homie, Timeless Thomas. You don't know who that is? Well, Timeless Thomas is one of my homies. Big up to York D. What's good, son? Hey, yo, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, he was just telling me that they just had a recall on all of that ticket.
And Suki. Oh, Suki. See, now see, you're getting salmonella and this, that, and the other, but you're running out buying
half the country.
You're gonna be sick.
ABC announced it, you know what I'm saying? He said, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I mean, it's crazy out here.
I told y'all not to eat that mess. I told you not to eat that mess.
It's all a setup, man.
Yep. You know, now
the system's in place now.
Yep. Now, what I was saying about getting on code is that a lot of us misunderstand that getting on code, what it actually means. It does not mean that you have to think exactly what I think. Okay, I am not in the business of thought control. I'm in the business of collective purpose.
Right.
Okay, collective purpose meaning unity of purpose. This is the only way we're going. When you know, it's something as a rule for us to exercise collective purpose, something dramatic has to happen. We have to be.
I know it's always that's the way blacks always have to come together. There have to be something that happened dramatically to change.
Yeah.
You know, like the Rodney King beating. I mean, for us to stand up to tear up our own community, I didn't like that. But other than that, you know, that's the way that we seem to always have to come together. We can't just take the truth and come together.
Right. We have to be at the height of our discontent in order for us to do something. Well, that's being reactionary. Okay. It's been long past time for us to be proactive instead of being reactionary, because proactive is revolutionary. Okay, this is the way that we need to approach things, from a proactive perspective.
Right.
I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building. WHTE 95.3 FM. Yaga. You gotta get smooth with you.
I know. We working on it, y'all. We still live with you. And don't worry, if you didn't catch the whole show, I will upload it to YouTube. You will definitely catch it later on. Oh boy, I got something coming up for you now.
I'm hitting everybody, pal.
Okay, maybe that's why my shit. We must we're on Facebook Live, but okay. Yeah,
I'm inviting everybody. That's right. I'm inviting Nsoromma, inviting you to tune in and come check us out on 95.3 FM WHDE radio. You know what I'm saying? More than radio. It's knowledge that we dropping science on you. You feel me? Brah, yaga. They responded.
Yeah.
It sounds like we had about 10, 15 hits.
I'm telling you.
I'm just going down my list.
It hit it. I heard that. Still on computer. You gotta get on the computer.
The Delaware Center for Homeless Veterans, also known as DCHV. DCHV's mission centers around two main goals: housing and supportive services. These The Delaware Center for Homeless Veterans, also known as DCHV. DCHV's mission centers around two main roles: housing and supportive services. DCHV's housing role is to provide safe, affordable housing coupled with supportive services for each veteran in need. DCHV's supportive services goal is to reintegrate, educate, empower, and advocate for homeless veterans and their families who are at risk of homelessness, while simultaneously strengthening the impact of other community-based organizations. By providing housing first and ending the cycle of homelessness for a veteran and supplying them with supportive services that they themselves identify as needed to combat future homelessness, DCHV is able to fully support the veterans' long-term goals of obtaining recovery, economic self-sufficiency, independence, and community reintegration.
Cool. Damn. There's a lot of people out there. Let's go up there. I feel it go. Jeez Louise. If Nsoromma didn't hit you up on Facebook Live, he coming to you, you can believe that.
Yo, what's good, yo?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Well, now we're going to hit him with something real hard, Nsoromma. We already come up on him with something real hard. You can hear my thing popping on there. All right. Oh, yeah, I know you feeling that. That's Lester Young, Ad-Lib Blues. Lester wasn't no joke with the, who was he with? Oscar Peterson trio. Love that song. More of that later. Right now, what's hot? Harriet Tubman. Yeah, Harriet, the movie. Okay. Now, first thing I got to do is get on some people. Get on code, y'all. Cut that inappropriate behavior. There will be a screening event on November 13th at the Penn Cinema at the Riverfront. It is made possible through the generous support of the Mayor's Office. This event is intended for high school and middle school teachers of Newcastle County. The Mitchell Center for African American Heritage at the Delaware Historical Society is presenting the screening of the movie Harriet. Let me tell you something. Shame on Stephanie Lampkin, director of the Mitchell Center for African American Heritage, Dr. Stephanie Lampkin. Shame on Deanna Mitchell, superintendent of the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad National Park, and shame on the Underground Railroad Coalition. Now they are targeting specifically educators, okay, specifically. As a matter of fact, that's all that will be at the event are educators. To take this falsehood that is the Harriet Tubman movie and take it back to the classroom and teach our children fictionalized history. Because that movie, as entertaining as it may be, is trash. And the reason it's trash is because it fictionalized the story of one of our most iconic heroes, Harriet Tubman, unnecessarily. Now, it would be unnecessarily from a student of real Black history like ourselves, Patrice and Nsoromma, because knowing the truth about Harriet Tubman, we know that her story is inspiring enough, exciting enough, something to look at and be proud of, that it does not need to be fictionalized. So why would they do that? The movie, let me give you some information here. The movie was written by Chazzy Lemmons and Gregory Allen Howard. These are both Black people. It was produced by Deborah Martin Chase, a Black woman. Now, what is the problem with this movie?
I mean, you know, they always whitewash, water down all of our stuff to where it's done, make it look like they the hero in the movie. That's why I really didn't go to the movie, because anytime you're dealing with the cinema and that mainstream media thing that I just was telling you about, you always get their side of whatever it is, because they're not going to let you do your side.
No,
they're not. They're going to push it as much as they can to make them look good and us look bad once again. You know what I'm saying? And some of us, you know, of color, fall for it because we gotta feed our families or whatever, and they give us that little $3 or $4 in chicken sandwich and send us on our way.
Exactly. Now, here are some of the problems in the movie. For one thing, and this is really a big problem, they vilify the black man. Oh yeah, there are other black characters besides the bounty hunter who they vilify in the movie. You know, like I said, there are other black characters. William Still, I think Frederick Douglass is, you know, characterized in the movie and what have you. But just the fact that they fictionalized a black bounty hunter and made him one of the main villains, if not the primary villain, a person that never existed.
I mean, that's
you know,
hey,
you know, so
one of their fictional characters that, you know what I'm saying? They always want to throw a Batman in our movie or a Superman in our movie, and it be their color Caucasians or something. They acting like they saving us.
And who is and I'm glad you said the savior. See, this is the thing. They had the white savior in the movie.
Wow.
Okay, and he saved Harriet Tubman from the black bounty hunter because he was secretly in love with her.
Who's seen the movie? Who all seen the movie? Hit us up and let us know what you think about the movie Harriet Tubman. You know, everybody got different opinions and different views, so we want to hear some of y'all's and what y'all thought about the movie. You know, I mean, I am really tired of it though. Of them stealing and watering down and not giving the true story of the essence of our people, man.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm gonna tell you something. What I look at this as, because you know, now who you get with and who you be with is, you know, primarily none of my business. But the thing about this movie is, you know, it is a Negro King bedwind swirler fantasy. Now, what the hell does that mean? Well, what that means is they turn the iconic blackest fighter against slavery, Harriet Tubman, into someone who had desire for a white man. And looked at this, you know, come on now, didn't happen. That's the worst thing about it, this white savior that they always interject in the movie. Now, I mean, just the thought of it is really ridiculous, because Harriet Tubman with a price on her head, the ideal, and I know I mentioned this last week, that she would be saved by some white plantation owner. It's just ridiculous with a price on her head. It just didn't happen. You know, now I saw online a lot of people that were defending the movie. And what I had to tell them is this: until the lion tells his tale, the story of the hunt will always favor the hunter. Okay? Now, in support of those who are critical of Harriet without having seen it, let me say this. I do not have to see D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation that glorified the Ku Klux Klan to know that that movie was trash. I do not have to see Elizabeth Taylor starring as Cleopatra to know that this movie is fictional trash. I did not have to see Zoe Saldana, a black woman, was she from the Dominican Republic, okay, who for years said she did not identify with black people, right up until some nut picked her out to play the role of one of my favorite singers.
Bob, what's good?
Nina Simone, okay, who she was not as dark as, who she did not have, the beautiful Negroid features of.
Man.
Okay? And put her in blackface and a prosthetic nose on her. I did not have to see that movie to know that that was trash.
I mean, that's what they do. That's I can't state this and force this enough into your brain that the white media does that.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at this guy on the internet today. You know, I always be going through the internet.
Right.
And this one particular guy, I stopped on him, and he was like a motivational speaker for everybody. He didn't have a color.
Mm-hmm.
He was a white guy, but his conversation wasn't color conversation. It was a business conversation.
Okay.
And inside of the business conversation, he was saying to like the white media and the radio stations and, you know, record companies, all the people that controls the media output on what the consumer will receive.
Mm-hmm.
He went to.
Okay.
So, and when he went to him, he said, look, I got a nice white song that is uplifting the world, that is I want to put on the radio, and can I do it? They said no. Then he went back and said, oh, I got a nice Spanish song that I wanted to put on that uplifts the world. And he said no. And then he said, I got a good black person song to put on the radio that's good to uplift. And they said no. And then he said, he turned around and went back and was like, I got a song talking about I want to kill and want to murder and want to do all this other kind of things to other humans and other races. And they like, yeah, we'll consider playing that.
Yeah, yeah. Sex and violence stuff.
Yeah, and that's what they saying. They saying that's what we want. We don't want that. We want the worst of the worst. So we know not to let our kids listen to 93 point or whatever because they giving this kind of knowledge. We want them to listen to 87.1 because it's only jazz and soft on white people music on this radio thing, and that's the way they separate us even in the media lane. We got our own stations that poison us,
right?
That they use to poison us.
You got that right.
You understand? Yeah. And this is not one of them.
No, it is no. Oh hell no. Oh hell no. You know, and like I said, you know what, and that brings me around to what happened in hip hop, because I remember in the 80s and 90s, hip hop was educational. The stations was pushing it. Okay, right. Then the corporations got involved. This is when hip hop artists controlled the content. And so the corporations got involved, and the corporations saw that this was waking too many people up. And
right,
there had to be a change,
and that's why they stopped. You don't hear any KRS-Ones. You don't hear any Public Enemies. You don't hear any. Yeah, you don't hear any people that was of the cause. Back in the day when I was coming up, anything that was in the news was in the record, right, so that you can know what's going on in the news if you ain't have a TV. Because a lot of us didn't have TVs. You know what I'm saying? We were struggling back then. I'm like, it's messy right now.
That it is, brother. That it is. Now I'm gonna tell you something about the movie Harriet. Now it's very interesting that the Comcast, a subsidiary of Comcast, is the one that is putting out the movie Harriet. Well, Comcast is being sued. Is being sued. What's up by Byron Allen. Now Byron Allen is a brother. It's a millionaire. Okay, he owns Entertainment Studios, the Weather Channel, and I just found out that he owns the Griot.
He owns 11.
Yeah.
Entertainment media outlets.
That's right. Now he alleges the companies were specifically in violation of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which prohibits racial discrimination in contracting.
Right.
Okay. Now, due to the amicus brief filed by Comcast, the case has gone from being about Allen's racial discrimination allegations to challenging the entire the entire Civil Rights Act of 1866 as we know it.
Right.
So they're trying to get a law from 1866 overturned. And
from a personal lawsuit from a personal individual that has nothing to do with the people, and it was the people's right. I'm not understanding how they can even bring that into court.
Yeah.
Now that's some more buffoonery that they're trying to do and put in front of, you know, them stopping another black man from buying some property or a business or a chain of businesses, however it may lead to.
Or have the right to make contract.
Right.
Because the Civil Rights Act of 1866, declares that all citizens, specifically blacks, have the right to full and equal benefit of all laws, the right to make contracts, the right to sue. That's what they're trying to stop. The right to give evidence in court. That's what they're trying to stop. The right to purchase and sell property. That's what they're trying to stop. The right to lease. The right to inherit and pass on inheritance. And they're taking that to the Supreme Court. This is Comcast, whose subsidiary put out the movie Harry. That's another reason not to see this movie, so that you don't give these suckers no money. To use
we pay them to kill us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean,
man, you know what? You hit that nail on the head, brother. We have got to stop supporting and financing our own damn oppression.
Right.
What's wrong with y'all? And we do that so many ways across the board.
All the time, yes.
Finance our own oppression.
We'll get mad they don't take our money.
Yes.
To oppress us. We get mad.
We get mad.
I mean, we really gotta come together and, you know, if you don't know, ask or call us and we'll do research to find out and get you your answer you need to know. And that's what it is. There's no more games and no more playing. 95.3 FM, WHGE, 95.3 FM. You know, man. Yo, my fault, but yo,
I ain't got the last word on that. I ain't need to add no one else to that.
Oh my God! And I know what I wanted to talk to you about too. Like, this is you hear about the bull that was the two deaf dudes went into the store. No. Two deaf dudes went into the store and was doing sign language, ordering their stuff and telling the people sign language. And the Crips came in and the up or something. And the Crip come in and they see him doing sign language. He was like sign language. Yo, and the girl, you know they can't talk. So inside of them doing sign language, one Crip was looking at the other boy, and the other boy was getting mad doing the sign language because he was like, "What you doing?" And then his boy was like, and then he did his sign language, and the Crip stabbed him to death.
Damn. Whoa.
Stabbed him.
Man,
stabbed him up.
That's crazy. Man.
Stabbed him up.
Y'all hear that?
That was messy.
That was big time messy, man.
And that's what they doing, man. We gotta really come together, man.
I'm telling you. Cut that.
Yeah, see that. Bring that back. Bring it back. Y'all that's right. We back in the building. Oh my God, boy.
The Open Eye, 95.3 FM. I tell you, we were just talking about something that's, that's so crazy, and it's just like, man, we have got to come together and
stop
inappropriate behavior.
That's right.
Inappropriate behavior. It runs so deep, across all spectrums of our own economic, social,
it's like messy.
It's absolutely messy. It is absolutely messy. One of the things when you were saying about when we were talking about financing our own oppression, and your sisters, no harm to you. All right, getting your hair products that they're poisoning. As they called it in the movie by Chris Rock, the creamy crack. Hair processed and putting them weeds in your head and messing your scalp all up and getting that poison. You're financing your own oppression.
That's what I'm saying. Just think of all the things that they got in place for us, that we have to look out for. We have to walk through like looking out for stuff that'll kill us. Instead of, living life like they do. Their supermarkets won't have the infected lettuce, and our supermarkets would.
Like or the foods high in the processed foods,
GMO,
GMO, and high in sodium and all kind of stuff. And too many of our people look. I understand how it is when your money ain't all that. You get food stamps or whatever. But try to think and eat healthy. And I know a lot of you living in food deserts where it's hard to get access. But stop shopping at the Dollar Tree and the dollar store because that stuff is poison.
Right. That's the outdated stuff that's about to be outdated in 2 days.
Yeah.
And once you get the meat, if you don't cook it right away that day, you have bad meat.
You got bad meat.
I mean, that's the way they get us. It's a dollar store in every other block in the ghetto, and you won't see them out in the suburbs. Period. For the simple fact that's what they do, and they know they do that. So they only want $1 store in their community for the less fortunate in their community. Right. Other than that, they ain't gonna have them every 2 blocks like we have. We have a dollar store every 2 blocks.
Right, and they're not doing food shopping in the dollar stores in their community. They're buying party products and little electronics and this, that, and the other. They're not feeding their families out of these Dollar Trees and dollar stores, Dollar General, and what have you, because they know that these foods are high in sodium. And I got to go back to, like I said, financing our own oppression is when you get disrespected, right, in one of these stores, and you go back, what you're doing is you're giving them the permission to continue to disrespect you. Okay, I saw where one of these nail salons, Asian-owned nail salons, they disrespected people, they beat up a sister, this, that, and the other. Brothers came together to shut it down. The owner of the Asian nail store had a 50% off sale. Sisters lined up around the block to get this disrespect. Right, their money.
And they just went against the help that was coming to help them in their situation as a unified backing to possibly get him out of there.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And she could have possibly owned the store and been selling hair to her own people.
Right.
But no, they never see the big picture. I mean,
and cuss the brothers out.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That this what it is called, the Lynch letter, Willie Lynch letter.
Willie Lynch letter.
The Willie Lynch letter has really hit us to where as though we really have to get out of these invisible shackles, man.
That's right. Big time. I had to catch myself there. This is the Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building.
Yo, big ups. Hey.
And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in on Facebook, all my posse. Yo, Lou, what's up? Yo, what's up? Yo, hit me up. Yvette, USB, yo, Smooth, Devin Tyler.
What's up, Smooth?
What's good?
All right.
Hey, yo.
I love them lyrics, brother, on that new hit.
Maliam.
Yes, indeed. More loud. More loud.
More loud.
Yo,
what's good?
That's what it is. That.
Yeah, I was saying them, tune in every Saturday, step it up, help us step it up, share it with people, spread this information, because we need us to all know. We need to know when we call a meeting, we need all our people to be there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yaga. And NsorommaCDBaby.com. Go get that.
Big ups. All right, we're coming around to the end of the show here. Let me give you my rant. They know who we are. We don't. Let me tell you something, and I've said this before. I'm almost reluctant to put this out there, but I will, because most of us won't get it or believe it. The crazy thing is They get it, understand it well, and take pains and anguish to safeguard against it. The African American is the most abused, most wounded of all Africans throughout the system of global white supremacy. Of all African people, he's the target for destruction. The African in America are also the most disconnected from the African continent, culture, and other African people throughout the world. This is not by happenstance. Why? Because of all Africans throughout the world, the African in America is the most dangerous. Why? The African in America is the most highly trained of any African in the world. He's trained in the art of war, specifically in the technique of the combined strike. That is the technique to strike from land, air, and sea. Immediately after World War II, African in America had the skill to produce the most dangerous air force on the planet, bar none. Make no mistake about it, this is not conjecture nor hyperbole. It can be stated without prejudice. The Tuskegee Airmen were the absolute best. The African in America was not trained for his own benefit, but for the benefit of America. Right now, as of this broadcast, at this very moment, there are enough Africans discharged from the American military to go to Africa and train and produce a modern military for every nation in Africa. This is why the African in America is set for destruction, because if he ever weds his skill and training to the continent of Africa, the world will be a very, very different place. Why has this not happened? The African in America's mind has been trained into dependency and illusion. That's why we do what we do. He has been fooled into believing he cannot manage a state. He can. This is a fairly recent phenomenon. During the days of segregation, the African in America being excluded and locked out of mainstream white society, the African in America created his own society. Schools, businesses, institutions. We were a nation within a nation. Unfortunately, the African in America confused liberty with the illusion of inclusion and abandoned his own institutions to take part in hostile white society, losing his understanding and benefits of self-sufficiency. The oppressor depends on this and the efforts to keep the African in America separated from other Africans on the continent and throughout the world. However, despite the oppressor's best efforts, the influence of the African in America cannot be discounted or stymied. Africans throughout the world, in the Caribbean, in South America, Europe, and on the African continent still look to the African in America to lead the way out of the abyss of oppression. Understand your responsibility to your brothers throughout the world. Should the African in America become fully aware of this and who he really is in the world, become aware of his awesome power, the world would be a very different place indeed. Wake up. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma.
Man, as I always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. This is the Open Eye.
Yaga. WHGE 95.3 FM radio. On. Yes. I thought that was my cut.
For biting.
This is for my city. Everything.
Tell me that stomach cancer.
Yeah. Yo, Facebook Live fans. Yeah, we're going out with my city. My man Nsoromma. His conscious head. That's right. Yeah.
Still there, right?
Yeah. Nsoromma checking the board if y'all catch it right out there on the air. Join us next time for another exciting episode. Same.
Yo,
that
thank all
time.
y'all for tuning in too, yo.
Yeah.
We liked it. We had a couple people logged in. Let us know what's happening. Yo, to type up, talk to us too. Don't be scared to
That's right.
communicate with us. You know what I mean?
And if you didn't catch it live, I will put it up on YouTube.
And yo,
catch it later.
undefeated. You heard?
Ah, suck it. The open eye. Whatever.